Shalom, shalom, Israelites, as my brother Yakana be saying.
Yo.
I'm just doing a preview of the video y'all about to watch that was hosted on sa.neter TV. It was concerning polygyny. Okay? And it was a panel of Hebrews, Christians, and the Kemet community, the conscious community. And ironically, the panel of Hebrews was all polygyny. Okay? Obviously the Christian. Okay? And there was the panel made up of the brother called Jeremiah Judah. Okay? 7,000, the people, the People's Choice or something like that. Okay? Part of the debate league called the Lion's Den. Okay? Also a guy by the name of General Yashar. I thought it was General Hushar. Okay, I don't know who this guy is. But they against polygyny. Then you have a sister by the name of Carla Way in the video. And then they had another lady by the name of MC Cool or something like that. She's a so-called comedian. Then you had a preacher by the name of Bennett, Pastor Bennett. And then you had Lord Abba that also came on the panel in the beginning. Versus Polite. Everybody know who Polite is. He's a polygynist, right? Very dynamic speaker. Okay? And so it's very interesting to see that these Hebrews got Hulk smashed in this discussion. But that's just my opinion. Y'all can look at the video. Y'all can leave y'all comments, likes, and give us your opinion of what you think about the showing of the Hebrew community versus the Kemet community or the conscious community concerning the topic of polygyny. All right? Okay. See you later.
All right, go ahead, brother JJ.
Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, but like a die. I want to give a shout out to the Lions Den, and basically, I'm in agreement with Sister Carla. I'm gonna come out with some information as far as the mental effects of polygamy.
Everybody go on mute because I hear a lot of noise. Let Jeremiah talk, but everybody go on mute.
Yeah, the dangers of spreading diseases, the mental effects it can have on a family. And also, I'm going to be bringing out a little bit about the economics, the financial part, and why a lot of us men in America, we definitely we barely can afford one family, let alone two or three. And that's what I'm going to be bringing out. Before I go in, because I'm about to destroy this. I'm about to shut it down from the gate. JJ 7000 about to shut it down. You know why? Because that's who I am. That's what I do.
Somebody out there, since he's being so overzealous, what the hell does Arab Muslim women and polygyny have to do with African hyenas that give you STDs in this connection to black men in America making $11 an hour? You see, this is why I didn't want to deal with this BS. And when you listen to it again, as unfortunate as that would be, you're going to realize he's talking to you about Arab women and African hyenas and African Americans that make $11.
I said Uganda, Sharia law, and Uganda Muslim.
Brother, come on, man. This is not a back and forth. This is my time when I speak. You asked me to direct my energy towards you.
Don't put my
stick. Speak while I'm talking, bro. Have some discipline. Gee, damn. This will go a lot smoother if you do like I did when I hear stuff I disagree with. I just wait my turn. That's it. So, Arab women, African hyenas that give STDs, and black men that make $11 an hour. I'm not even going to entertain that foolishness because none of these things are connected to each other, what we talking about right now. All right? So now we're going to move forward.
Yo! Hey, Skunk. We record? Let's go. I was gonna keep rocking. Wait for it. Damn. Wait for it. Hey, you're crazy. Hashem, Amashiach Yahweh. Yeah, Hawashai is coming back. Real facts. On the street with my team, you know where I'm at. AOI, baby, check the letters. Not hearkening to Yahweh, don't know what to tell you.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
sa.neter TV is here for you. Black News 102, always bring the truth. And if you can't find yourself and can't see the light, sa.neter TV, I'll help you in the fight. Black News 102, we here for you. Black News 102, we here for you. We here for you. We here for you. To bring the truth, to bring the truth.
All we got is us. All we got is, all we got is us. Getting harder, we're trying to keep it together. If we hold to one another, we're gonna make it through this weather. I got you, yeah, down for whatever, whenever. It don't matter what you're going through, my love is always and forever. All we got is us, all we got is, all we got is us. So let's stay together.
You have a microphone?
We need that brotherly love. Black queens need kings. So tune into sa.neter TV. Black News 102, we in the streets. Press play and take a seat. Cause we do this for you, we do this for you, we do this for you, we do this for you.
Listen to the sounds of sa.neter Studios. Keep your head up, keep your head up. Listen to the sounds of sa.neter Studios. Keep your head up, keep your head up.
All right, family. Check this out. You already see what's going on. Polite is in the building with a bunch of Hebrews and Christians. So this is going down. The debate of the century. Brother Polite will be taking on some Hebrew women and Hebrew men. And the topic is, you already know, man, can polygamy solve a lot of our people's problems? And so the Hebrews, for some apparent reason, I don't understand it, are against polygamy. They are against it. And Polite is the only one up in here that is with polygamy. All right, now Polite, Brother Polite, is on you, Brother Polite. We want to have you open up. Everybody opened up. So go ahead, brother.
Okay, after this, I suppose we go into the rounds, huh?
Yeah. Just open up and let them know.
Okay, so what you want me to open up? The can of whip ass, or do I open up the vegan food? You just let me know.
The vegan food. Right,
cool, cause I make it like that. So this is what I want to discuss. I'm making note of everything everybody says. So for Sister Carla, she says the parents will not be home in a polygynous relationship, and that impacts the children. I have to find out what type of polygynous relationship is that, because in my scope of things, more parents would be available to the children. And so if you have additional people in the household and still no one's there watching the child, I have to now question the integrity of those parents, being that there's more than two there available to the children. We also have where you said men cannot handle it, and Hebrews sit on this panel agreeing. She said men can't handle it, the same condition that these men are in. And I'm looking at a general That's what his title is prefixed. He has General Yashar right there. So I'm looking at a general named Yashar over here. I'm looking at Jeremiah Judah. Okay, particularly these are her Hebrew Israelite brothers. And she's saying the men can't handle it. And Jeremiah Judah comes out the gate. First thing he says is, I second that notion. As
wow.
A man can't handle it. So I just think that's interesting. That, I mean, we're not talking about every man, but I would think that the men here are the most reputable amongst your community, that at least they can get the concession of the benefit of the doubt. So I thought that was interesting that even Jeremiah Judah doesn't even consider himself such, and that she would say that even with our good brother General over here. No flack to him. I just found that interesting. And then we talk about, she said she spoke to women that were in polygynous relationships and they focused on being the head woman. So I wanted to know if she had a narrative that came from people that are presently happy, or if she's only spoken to people who have a toxic experience being in polygyny, because then it wouldn't be balanced, it would be biased. So I just want her to keep these things in mind, that Brother Polite is listening to you. And so we have Pastor Bennett. Pastor Bennett says it favors the man. And then I would have to question, what is the purpose of the polygynous relationship in the first place? Because if we're talking about it favoring the man, but we're not talking about the agenda of the relationship, I think that that's not fair. First, we should discuss what the agenda is. Now, if the agenda is only to have sex, then I can hear you saying that it may favor the man. But if the agenda isn't exclusively predicated upon having sex, I have to ask him, what is he talking about when he says it favors the man, unless it's a genderless program or scenario? So I think it's not plausible, the statement that he made or the assertion that he made, because we need more information around what he's talking about. Once we find out what the agenda is, then we can say if the man is in favor. But if Pastor Bennett is only thinking about sex, then I can understand he doesn't understand polygyny in the first place. And so Pastor Bennett also makes reference to our ancient reasons, okay? And I need him to explain what were the ancient reasons that we conducted polygyny, because we might find those same reasons are relevant today. So I would like to hear what was going on in ancient times where we employed polygyny, where he may have said, okay, I understand why they did it. What was going on so significant and so different in ancient times that we are not subject to in modern day times? I just want to understand where he's coming from.
All right.
Yes, against it. Hold on. I got one more thing. I ain't go down the line because I understand what's going on, but please understand, Brother Sai, if several people are against me, I should get a
I got you.
more time.
I got you. I got you.
I'm not going to burn the time down. I'm going to just do one more thing. And so Sister MC, right, our comedian MC Lotto, she referred to men as meat. And I would just simply say, if I come here and I say anything remotely close to that, the Me Too movement, all the sisters, the brothers, everybody's going to talk to me crazy. But she has the right to express how she feels. So I'm not knocking her in her expression, but just considering that the man has just been identified as a piece of meat that she doesn't want to share. Okay, we're gonna have to maybe not take as much things as she says serious unless she starts using a different verbiage to assert her claims. Because if men are just meat, then we're being objectified, and therefore we wouldn't be able to have a reasonable conversation about polygyny. So I just want to welcome everybody to the platform. You are dealing with Brother Polite. There's a reason I am who I am, and there's a reason you are who you are. So let's not make no more errors.
I'm about to destroy this. I'm about to shut it down from the gate. JJ 7000 about to shut it down. You know why? Because that's who I am. That's what I do. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, son, you ain't even got to ask me the question. Now, for what I'm going to tell y'all what's going on. The average black man in America makes $23,000.
Jeremiah, I need you to stick with the program. I know you want to go in, but I'm going to ask you the question to deal with the question. All right, here's the question. The first question is for all of y'all. All right, based on the present condition of our people, why is polygamy good or bad for our people? You got it? You understand that?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to go into. If you would
get ahead in, my brother. Go ahead. Get ahead in, Jeremiah.
That's right. I mean,
I need everybody to go on mute. Let Jeremiah put it in. Yeah. Put in that work.
Now, all this polygamy, it sound good, it look good on paper. You know, you got your 4, 5 wives. You know, that's a lot of men. That's what we dream about. Have 4, 5 bad honeys running around. But a lot of times, a lot of us don't even stay in the same household with these women, because the women is not going to get along together. One of them's going to want to be the alpha female, the one that's in charge, and then the other ones, you know, they don't want to be underneath the alpha female. And here's the thing right here: the average income for a black man in the United States is $23,000 a year. That's $442 a week. That's $11 an hour. Now you split that up in 3 homes. That's less than $4 an hour that goes towards each home. There's no way, and in a certain condition that we are in as black men in the United States, that we can afford 3 or 4 different households, especially if their average income is $11 an hour. That's one thing. Secondly, you got to think about the mental thing that it does to our people. A lot of these women are feeling neglected. You see what I'm saying? Because this man is at this woman's house for 2 or 3 days, then he's over here for another 2 or 3 days. What are you gonna do when she wants you to be with her for 4 days? She's being neglected. There's studies showing that a lot of times it don't work because the man cannot be at all places at once. You see what I'm saying? But this is what he did. When he brought up God, now I gotta go to Africa, because this is where we got these practices from. A lot of us that y'all say, if y'all don't believe in the Bible, y'all go back to your ancient African ancestors. All right. Now, to me, this is a very dangerous practice for the simple reason of some of the things that they do and some of the rituals that they have over in Africa. My dear brother Polite, the first thing you must learn, they have a practice called sexual cleansing. All right. This will make you think twice about a polygamous relationship. It's locally called Kusafa Fumbi, Kusa Fumbi, Fumbi. Now, this tradition is practiced in several African countries, such as Malawi, Zambia, and Kenya. Under this ritual, young girls are required to have sex with paid male workers. Watch this, I'm gonna get to the point. And he's locally known as the hyena. After receiving their first menstrual period, or becoming widow, or after having an abortion, the hyena get a hold of them, right? The sexual cleansing tradition can last for these young girls for 3 days, right? 3 days. Because all y'all want to go back to Africa and all that, so we're gonna practice what the Africans do, right? 3 days. The key word is girls are taken to a secluded place where they spend 3 days learning the aspects of womanhood, including how to please a man. On the last day, that's when the hyena come in there. And he's invited to cleanse the initiates. Locals believe that this practice presents diseases. Now here go the kicker right here, everybody. In 2016, Eric and Neva was HIV positive and said to have sexually cleansed over 100 women and girls. So that's what I'm saying. With this practice that they have over in Africa, a lot of women are getting infected before they even turn the age of damn near 18. You see what I'm saying? So this can happen over here.
All right, Jeremiah, because we got a lot of people, so I want to make sure I get to a lot of people.
Okay,
Get to the people.
I got more for them.
All right, let's go, Polite. Respond.
No problem. This is like, I don't need the time, my brother. Jeremiah Judah, as always, strays off the topic to talk about what exactly he has the intention to talk about. It doesn't even matter what we're going to talk about. That man decides he's going to talk about Jordans. He's going to find a way to integrate those Jordans in any conversation. So listen, Jeremiah Judah, I'm a polygynous man. I've never conducted the Kusafa ritual, the sexual cleansing. I don't think anyone on this platform has to worry about myself or anyone here in America practicing this. For the most part, is irrelevant. Thank you for giving us some insight about something that possibly is going on around the other side of the world. I probably won't be looking into it anyway, but if anyone wants to, thank you, Jeremiah, for making that citation. But in this polygynous conversation, that does not speak to people that are conducting polygyny, and it certainly doesn't speak to myself. And I believe it's safe to say, or safe to surmise, most of us will not be making subscriptions to that form of polygyny as we don't even have no conception of it in the first place. So let me just say that, my brother. Okay, Jeremiah Judah speaks on behalf of women as a man, but I understand his religious disposition. Okay, but I don't think it's right for a man to speak on behalf of women when talking about their limitations or their inability or their lack of mental fortitude. So when he speaks on behalf of women and says that they don't have the mental fortitude, he didn't use those words, obviously, but I'm gonna use mental fortitude, but I'm paraphrasing. They don't have the mental fortitude to work in perfect union as co-wives in that type of relationship. They will be jealous of each other and so forth and so on. This speaks to an age-old narrative that women do not have the mindset or cannot transcend the mundane clauses of jealousy or insecurity in order to accomplish a task. In my world, I know if the means justify the extremes, if there is a logic that should be employed, I got you, my brother. If there's a logic that needs to be employed for those who sign up, they have the mentality, the capabilities, and the intelligence to do so. Okay, so I don't think a man should speak on behalf of women when it comes to saying what a woman can and cannot do. Now, a woman not wanting to do something because she emotionally isn't there, it would be wise for her not to indulge. But to simply write off women in general as not being able to do something, I think that is an atrocity. And I think that is greatly putting women at a disadvantage based on the narrative, since we're talking about advantages. Women have just as enough capability to endure and or explore and or indulge in anything they choose, so long as they understand what the protocols and agenda is. Not having enough money. We spoke about, Jeremiah Judah spoke about not having enough money and the average income for the Black man. Well, when you do polygyny, one of the biggest things that I know of from my teachers and in my world is that you employ group economics. So not having enough, several people not having enough money is reason for several people to get together to make the money, not the opposite. Okay, Jeremiah Judah, so you're working into my point over here. You don't run away from polygyny because you're not making money. You run to it so you can employ group economics. So again, I'm not saying every woman should do this, but if we're going to talk about reasons that it will be done, can be done, or must be done, then these are legitimate reasons. These are plausible reasons. These are reasons that you cannot deny. And as far as talking about references that you don't speak of, don't do it. Peace.
Jeremiah, relax. I'm going to let you respond right after Polite.
Yeah, you can see the screen?
Yes.
Wow. So we talking about, yo, why does it do this when I'm doing this? Okay, Black women, statistically, what do we see here? According to the American Community Survey from the US Census Bureau, the Black female population in the United States was 21.7 million in 2018. And there's a reason why I brought it there to 2018. This is 52% of the Black population compared to Black males who make up 48% of the Black population. This was the 2018 numbers. Okay, so we was down 4%. That's not small, but you may say, well, that's relatively equal, right? But we know we're down. We're down 4% on them polls. There's more women than there are Black men. So we look here, according to the US Department of Justice, and we see the lifetime likelihood of going to state or federal prison. And what I want the family to do is look at that graph. Look at the first name on the graph where it says Black. We make up more than a 1 out of 4 chance of being incarcerated. So that's more than 1 out of 4. This is coming from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. This is coming from the BOP, okay? This is coming from the US Department of Justice, all right? So we see not just 1 out of 4, but over 1 in every 4 Black men will be incarcerated. Think about that in respect to those numbers, because the 2018 numbers is way more disproportionate in 2020. I'm doing the best numbers I can find stemming backwards, which was 2018. That's what I'm doing for you. Because if we do 2020, or to be realistic, we do 2019, we'll see that that's even more disproportionate. So I threw you an alley-oop, and I gave you us being down 4% in the Black populace. And now with that 48% of Black people, we now have to, or Black men, we now have to consider in that 48% that makes up the whole, that over 1 out of every 4 you see. So that means 1 in every 3.5 Black men, damn near, is going to be separated from society, from their families. That's a serious statistic you have to consider. And it's coming from the folks that lock us up. This is where the information coming from. Now we're going to go down here, right? And we're going to see this study over here, which lets us know, I want y'all to read through it, okay? How the researchers computed the average death rate among the men, okay? And we're going to go down, we look at the lines that's underlined, because we're going to look at white males, we're going to look at Black males, but I want you to see that as far as homicides are concerned, as far as suicides are concerned, we making up on an annual over 250,000 people. So we got over 1 in every 4 Black men being incarcerated. The fact that Black men make up less of the Black populace in respect to their Black woman counterpart. And we also have a guaranteed on an annual 250,000 men out of those 1 in every 4 plus that make up the smaller amongst the populace, the Black man will be killed or die by homicide or suicide. Now, you probably think it's done, but it's not. So what can we conclude so far? There are more Black women than men, obviously. Disproportionate by far. Over 1 out of every 4 Black men will be incarcerated. 250,000 will die by suicide or homicide. That's in terms of Black men. Hold on, we're not done. You know why? Because when we pull this up right here, guess what we're looking at now? We're looking at the single Black women. Black women are more likely to get married later on in their life, around 40 years old. And not only do they get married late in their life, okay? Not only are they getting married late in their life, and this is coming from the NCBI, so we're not playing around, okay? Okay, the National Center for Biotechnology Institute. This is a credible source, my people. This is where this is coming from. You type it up, you're going to see it right there. Not only are Black women getting married late into their lives, they're also the highest probability of being divorced, being single. This is an important statistic, because we got to put all these permutations together. This is a crazy ass statistic. So they're not getting in relationships, serious relationships, or getting married until 40, all right? And then they lead in divorce rates when they finally freaking get married. What the hell is going on? Now, I'm not knocking my sisters, but clearly something is going on, all right? And there's things to be considered there. So now we have Black men get married, or Black women, it should say, get married later and divorced the most, okay? It should say Black women there. Now it ain't done. We're gonna look at the female expectancy, and this is coming from the World Health Organization. If I get more time, I'm gonna show you some more statistics that's exclusive to us. But right here is letting you know women generally live longer than males on an average by 6 to 8 years. So now we're looking at the mortality rate. This Black woman is waiting until we about to die before she gets into a relationship, and then she's getting into a divorce situation. Yo, I want y'all to really understand this. And they go on to talk about the Asian women and everything like that, but that's none of our business. But you can go check out the source material, because, you know, I got to respect the time. Let me stop the sharing. Hold on. So let me just build with the people real quick. And I'm not knocking my sisters, because there's other elements that we got to consider for why she may be marrying so late in her life. And part of the reason for this is because you've been Europeanized. And a Black person being Europeanized, it doesn't work for them. If an African person is Africanized, if a melanated person is Africanized, it works for them. But when you are Europeanized and you're not from European stock and you don't have European culture, you don't have an affinity to European food, dishes, dresses, rituals, and realities, you have a false European paradigm that you're making subscriptions to as melanated people in America. So as Africans of the diaspora, what you're gonna find is you're in the conundrum. Okay, we're making subscriptions or following the edict of a people who set the stage for us to fail perpetually, whether you believe it or not. So when we look at the statistics, Pastor Bennett, when we look at the statistics, General Yashar and Jeremiah J77 and Sister Carla, you know I left you out. MC, she been taking her time now, so I ain't gunning for you right now. But Sister Carla, what you gotta understand is these are credible sources letting you know that Black men make up less of the percentage of the Black populace. These are credible sources letting us know that we are more likely to die by suicide or homicide, 250,000 of us on a per annual basis. We're also realizing that 1 in every 4, over 25% of us actually, 1 in every 3 and change will be incarcerated or separated from society, separated from their families. And then our mortality rate is compromised because Black women are more likely to outlive their male counterpart by 6 to 8 more years. And on top of that, she's taking so long to get into a serious relationship only for her to wind up being divorced. And this is coming from the World Health Organization. This is coming from the NCBI. This is coming from the Department of Justice. You see what I'm saying, people? These people have no stake in telling us lies when it comes to these particular numbers. In fact, they probably laughing like, yo, these Black people, there's a decision or opportunity that presents itself before them. But if all we can do is consider it's not fair that the man gets to have all the women. Well, it's not fair that Black men are being singled out and being incarcerated out of 1 out of every 4. It's, you know, and nature set it up for y'all to outlive us. But of course, there are some environmental circumstances why Black women are also outliving their male counterparts so much years apart. And then I didn't even show you the homosexuality, the LGBTQ community consideration. I didn't even show you that. You feel what I'm saying? And I didn't even go into disease and which diseases are eliminating Black men to preference over Black women. Okay? You get fibroids, they take your womb out. But when we get some shit, a lot of times it's our damn death. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not jealous that you outliving us, but I'm saying if you realize how disproportionate the balance is between men and women, what are you suggesting to us logistically? Are you suggesting, hold on, this last thing. Are you suggesting that the Black women go out there and get them a white man? Because that's all that's left. Or an Asian man? Because that's all that's left. At some point or the other, y'all got to reconcile within yourselves, logistically, diagnostics, analytics. One of these words that stimulate the math interest that you should have will tell you you got no choice but to either become a damn lesbian or part of the LGBTQ community, or sit there, don't have a man, or come to terms with a reality for the salvation of our people. It's just something we got to consider, folks. It may be an ugly truth to you, and I understand why, because of the culture that we live in. They taught us wrong.
All right, all right. The second round, second question, Brother Jeremiah running all around. We're going to skip you, Jeremiah. You better run back.
Now, Polite has said, let me address Polite, because he's acting like he don't have a birth certificate. He's acting like he don't have a social security card. You know what I'm saying? The reason why he will not go down to the courthouse or to the church to get married, because it's illegal to have more than one wife. So of course you're sitting up here acting like you just doing this, like you so separated, but you still have a birth certificate, you still got your social security card, so you're not separated, bro. So here's my thing. You say he can bring up the Bible, but I can't bring up Africa. Now, I went to the part where we talk about polygamy. I went to polygamy, right? And showing you, because now y'all want to separate yourself from Africa. I'm showing the harm of what it's doing to the motherland. I'm showing you the practices of what was happening over there when they got the hyenas coming in, sleeping with these young women, sa.neter. They sleeping with these young women, right? And they're giving them HIV.
Did you hear my question, brother? Did you hear the question?
Well, they giving them HIV, sa.neter.
Yeah,
And
but
then you go out and
listen,
marry
you
one of
hear
these
the
women,
question,
you're
Jeremiah.
passing it on. So let's get
Go
to the
ahead.
mental. Okay, let's get to the mental aspects. Let's get to the mental health part then. All right, let's get to the mental health harms associated with polygamy. All right, polygamy has long been associated with family stress and mental illness among women. As I said earlier, the practice can lead to co-wife jealousy, competition, and unequal distribution of domestic resources. All right, all tending to create animosity among wives.
Jeremiah, did you hear the question? Did you hear the question? The question was, are there more advantages for our people or disadvantages for our people when it comes to polygamy? Are there more advantages or disadvantages? That's the question, my brother. Go ahead.
Doing.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Are you gonna mute me? Gonna let me go? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I just had to stop you so you
can
can hear the question again. Go ahead.
I heard the question. I already heard the question. I'm just going into what my thing. There's disadvantages, bro. All right. The mental health aspect, the economic aspect. A lot of these, like I told you before, the average black man makes $23,000 a year. That's $440 a week. That's $11 an hour. You mean tell me his black ass is gonna take care of 3 homes? And Lord forbid the nigga owes some damn child support. How you gonna pay cell phone bills of 3 households, water bill, power bill with $11 an hour? And he talking about everybody gonna join together and do economics together. That ain't gonna work with one man. Our average black man in the United States makes $11 an hour. It's hard for a brother like me, and I make way more than that. I'm trying to tell you, bro, that's support one home. Now let's talk about the mental. Y'all ain't talking about the mental health part of this. Let's talk about the mental health, sa.neter.
Hey, Jeremiah, see, you just talked about the man making the income. What about the woman that's making the income? What about the children? Because I remember when we doing events, you know who Polite got working? He got his wives working. He got his children working. I don't know what type of polygamy you talking about, brother. You think polygamy is just about a man working and taking care of the house? No, brother, it's a business thing going on. And you missing the whole business.
The average income of a black woman is probably like $13 an hour, okay? So you got 3 homes. Now, this black man is gonna go in each of these homes with his $11 an hour making ass. So you split that up between 3 households, his $11 an hour making ass. That's less than $4 an hour that he got to contribute to each home. Now, so don't get up here and act like all of us are successful enough to do this. That's all I'm saying, bro. Because like I say, the average income of a black man in the United States is $23,440 a week, $11 an hour. Do the numbers. Now let's go to the mental health part of this, because there's mental stuff going on in polygyny that people need to know about. Now, can I get into it? It's hard associated with polygamy. Polygamy has long been associated with family stress, mental illness among women. As I said earlier, the practice can lead to co-wife jealousy, competition of an unequal distribution of domestic resources, all tending to create animosity among the wives and between children of different wives. These factors are believed to explain the greater prevalence of mental disorders among women in polygamous families in comparison to those in monogamous marriages and relative to general population. Among psychiatric patients, so now we're finna go to the doctors. We're finna go to the experts, what they say. Among psychiatric patients, polygamous marriages tend to be associated with increased depressive disorders, somatization disorder, and anxiety disorder. Somatization is a tendency to experience and communicate psychological distress. All right. Now, in an outpatient psychiatric clinic, study of the Arab women in a polygamous marriage generally reported greater despair than the monogamous counterparts. 58.4% of polygamous women interviewed for the study described feeling of low self-esteem. okay, compared to 7.7% of their monogamous counterparts. So we got numbers. Numbers don't lie. So if we can go all this make up stuff as I go, I got numbers, facts, and the doctors. All right, let's go more to this mental health issue in this polygamous relationship. More polygamous women interviewed for the study also reported poor relationships with their husbands than their monogamous subject, often because they were physically, emotionally, sexually, and materially neglected. The sexual part. Nigga, you can't be in all, look at, you can't be with them all at once. And pretty soon they're gonna stray off on your ass. All right, thus, while 12.8% of women in monogamous unions express a sense of loneliness, 64.1% of the polygamous unions did. They lonely. Nigga, you can't be out, hey, you can't be omnipresent, omnipotent, because you ain't God. All right, now beyond the mental health harms associated with the practice of polygamy is also linked to sexual and reproductive health harms. Women in health, CDAW noted that adolescent girls and women in many countries, hold on, I'm almost done, brother. Yep, lack adequate access to information and services necessary to ensure sexual health. See, as a consequence of unequal power, relations based on gender, women and adolescent girls are often unable to refuse sexual practices. So y'all talk about all this black woman gotta respect them. Over in these other countries, they get treated like pieces of shit. All right? Sexual practice, harmful traditional practice such as polygamy may also expose girls and women to the risk of contracting HIV and AIDS. And that tie in with the hyenas. And that's in sexually transmitted diseases. The specific concern about polygamy and the transmission of HIV/AIDS have been at the forefront of legislation debates in Uganda, where there's an assumption that all marriages entered into the Muslim are governed by the Sharia law and can therefore be polygamous within this system. Wives, listen to this, have no legal status. They don't have no rights. All right, I'm almost done. I got two more sentences. To prevent their husbands from taking second wives. This is particularly alarming given the high rate of HIV and AIDS infections in Uganda, Kenya, and other African nations. And that's when I went to the sexual cleansing, when I told you about the hyena putting it on their ass. All right? So like I say, I went over to Africa and I came back to the United States with the average black man making $11 an hour. There's no way that his black ass can take care of 3 homes. No way. With $11 an hour, you can put your money together with the other woman. She ain't gonna share her money with the other 2 houses because a lot of them ain't going for it. A lot of them, like Nepal, wants to be the #1 wife. She told us this. If she's not #1, and then she ain't dealing with it. So what if you #1, you start off #1, and then he start liking the other one? That's mental shit.
Don't bring me up when you're
That's
talking.
mental shit. If you're gonna be, that's mental. Okay? Because now you ain't #1. What are you going to do when you ain't #1 no more? Are you going to stay there? No, you shaking your head right. So like I said, Polite, the $11 an hour that the average black man make, there is no way that he can support 3 or 4 households. This is just a fantasy. And just like I said, brother, what's his name? Lord Abba, that just because a man wants to love one wife, that don't make him a simp. What makes him a simp is you trying to live off 2 or 3 women, and your ass can't afford it. Now you the floor.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you. Go ahead, Brother Polite.
All right, peace of the family. Let's make some more corrections. Okay, that's what we have to do. That's the beauty about this conversation. I'm going to go all the way back to Carla, and Carla shares a lot of the sentiments of our sister MC Lotto, so this would be easy. I could consolidate my answers. Sister Carla stipulated a number of things. Well, let's go to MC.
Yeah, address the mental part, what I said. Go ahead.
You must have discipline, my brother. This is why you're not good for no polygyny, because you're not going to be able to organize. You talking out of turn, my brother. How you going to have a family meeting, my brother? You got to.
Like I said, just address. We want you to stay on.
My brother, you have to stop. This is my time to speak. I don't do that to you, my brother. Chill. And I mean, you know what? You want me to address yours? I address yours first. This is what Jeremiah.
Go ahead.
My brother, can you stop? Come on, bro. Discipline. This is what Jeremiah wants me to talk about. He said numbers don't lie. So he gave us probably some accurate numbers about Arab women who are in some probably sect or form of Islam. We don't know if they're Ahmadiyya. We don't know if they're Shiite. We don't know if they're Sunni, but they damn sure ain't the nation of the gods and earths. They're not the nation of Islam. They're not the black man here in the hells of America. He gave us some numbers that don't lie, that confirm what Arab women are identifying with. He also talked to us about African hyenas that give you STDs. Okay, so he talked about Arab women and their statistics as it relates to their emotional distress per their Muslim lifestyles. We don't know where the reference comes from, and we don't know what type of Muslims these Arab women are. We just know that they're Arab women. And then he talks to us about African hyenas that give STDs, okay? And that has nothing to do with us yet again. And then he says, but I made a connection and I bring you back to America to talk to you about how the black man is making $11 an hour in America. Somebody out there, since he's being so overzealous, what the hell does Arab Muslim women and polygyny have to do with African hyenas that give you STDs in this connection to black men in America making $11 an hour? You see, this is why I didn't want to deal with this BS. And when you listen to it again, as unfortunate as that would be, you're going to realize he's talking to you about Arab women and African hyenas and African Americans that make $11.
I said Uganda, Sharia law, and Uganda Muslim.
Brother, come on, man. This is not a back and forth. This is my time when I speak. You asked me to direct my energy towards you.
Don't put my
stick. Speak while I'm talking, bro. Have some discipline. Gee, damn. This will go a lot smoother if you do like I did when I hear stuff I disagree with. I just wait my turn. That's it. So, Arab women, African hyenas that give STDs, and black men that make $11 an hour. I'm not even going to entertain that foolishness because none of these things are connected to each other, what we talking about right now. All right? So now we're going to move forward. He's saying, I'm acting like I don't have a birth certificate. No, I'm not. I do got a birth certificate and I do got a social security number. But that has nothing to do with this conversation. I was talking about Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure and the fact that there's a security stipulation there on the QSIP that's part of your marriage certificate tells me that if a certificate is involved, security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity as in the case of a stock or ownership of a bond as in the case of a debt obligation which has tradable derivatives. All I'm saying is you're property of the state. That's all that means. I'm not saying anything about not having a birth certificate or not having a social security number. I'm saying if you get a marriage certificate, and the case in point that I made was other certificates have the same implication that the state is involved with what you should be able to do, acting in your own majority, but you're acting in your minority when you, Pastor Bennett, and the rest of you guys say it is impossible for me to conjoin my wife in the name of marriage unless the state says so. And no, I don't agree with that. I should be able to create a debt obligation amongst my wife and I, void of anybody else. I should be able to go into private contract or agreement with my wife or my wives. I should be able to do that without somebody telling me I don't got the right to be in a private relationship and have my own obligations or vows amongst the woman or the women that I'm with without this white man being involved. Y'all sound like some goddamn slaves. And I'm not going to be part of that. You go to that white man, you go to City Hall, you go in the name of your goddamn God, y'all do that shit. I'm not with that. I'm not gonna let no white man tell me what kind of relationship I can have with my wives, and if I don't, then I'm not in a real relationship. I'm making real fucking babies. We paying real rent. We own real homes. We own real cars. We have real sex, but you're gonna tell me I'm not having a real relationship. You sound like some damn slaves. I'm not doing that. So we're gonna move forward. Everything is real except for the relationship. We doing all the shit. And let me say this. If this monogamy is working so good, we wouldn't even be here in this conversation because you know what you guys would be saying? Yo, statistically, our shit is lit. So why are you trying to make us experiment with that over there? That's what you would be saying if it was working. But it don't work, obviously. So we're here today. saying maybe we should attempt to do something different because this all those broken family households the sisters are talking about, and all those men that are incarcerated, and all those people that's part of the LGBT community, you making like, yo, which one is the latter or the former? We're saying as a remedy in light of those things being actualities, this is how we can respond to it. You guys are saying, how can polygamy respond to incarceration? We're saying polygamy is a response to us being incarcerated. We're saying polygamy is a response to the rise in homosexuality and the men not being available. We're saying that polygamy is a response to the homicide suicidal rate that's also putting the numbers of men on decline. You don't ask us how polygamy is going to help the men no longer be on a homicidal suicidal decline, how it's going to no longer stop us from being in prison. You're asking this shit in reverse. Which one is the latter? Which one is the former? We're saying because that is the present day and time condition, what can we do to respond to those conditions in real time in this present day and time practically? Okay, so it's plausible. Whether you like it or not, you can't deny the fact it makes sense unless you're saying women stay there with nobody and just be dissatisfied. Or you're saying we are going to encourage Black women to start having relationships with people outside of the Black community. That's what you're going to have to start saying. And just keep it all the way 1,000, because there ain't enough Black men to conjoin to a Black woman. That's a fact. So my question is to both these sisters and the brother, so we just gonna ignore statistics. You're gonna ignore what I've been saying, and you're just gonna ignore what our sister Napah been saying, and you're gonna ignore the statistics that Lord Abraham gave you. We just gonna throw that all out the window and say, yo, emotionally, I'm not feeling good about it. Well, this shit ain't about emotion. People wanna talk about going to war, and we in war. Well, you know what they did back in the days, what our ancestors did, Pastor Bennett? You know what we did back in the days? When a man went to war and he died, that woman would cleave on to the family, okay, of the other man, because that other man died in war. Well, Black people are in war today. There's a war against us from the prison industrial complex. There's a war against us with the LGBTQ community. There's a war against us with the covert operatives that got our brothers banging on each other. We are at dire straits here as a community, and we may have to do some things that on ordinary circumstances we may have felt was compromising. Now, I'm not over here begging anybody here to be a wife of mine or anyone else. But I'll be damned if I have a brother like Pastor Bennett tell me that I am neither a king nor do I need access or the right to so much women, to leave some women here for everyone else. What kind of crazy shit is that for a Black man to tell another Black man? Okay, so now let's move forward.
Bro, you didn't address the mental issue. Let's get to the topic.
Hey, hold on.
Yo, bro, this ain't about no mental issues.
No. Address that.
Yo, bro, nobody asks anything about no damn mental.
No. We talk about the mental issue of polygamy.
You're not talking about no damn mental issue.
Yeah, and he told you to address what I said, bro.
The question was, what is the benefit? The question is, what is the benefit of polygyny? Polygyny. It's not polygamy or whatever the way you was pronouncing it, is polygyny. What is the benefits of polygyny? And the first thing I was commissioned to do was to respond to the first set of people that asked the question. And then I'm going to respond to that particular question for this round when I'm done responding to everybody individually. So let's get that right. The question wasn't about mental distress. That's your fucking statements. And the way you posited your questions is null and void. It's moot because you don't make no damn sense when you put your shit together. I'm paying attention to what Carla said. I'm paying attention to what Lotto said, because they presented their ideas in a respectable manner. Brother, stop talking when I talk. I'm done in another 60 seconds. How much longer you going? It's none of your business how long I'm going to be talking. I just said I'm going to be done in 60 seconds.
Come on, Sa. Come on, Sa.
Hey, I'm out of here because this dude's a clown. Hey, answer the goddamn question.
No, I'm not answering. Yo, you talk to your wife like that. I'm not answering none of that. You being negative as hell. Come on, man. It's like, yo, why are you getting upset in the middle of a powerful conversation? Everybody's throwing their input in here. He's the only one stirring up confrontation with every damn body. Like, chill. And then you see, this is why I said, don't accredit women for things as men, because guess what? We would say that that's some effeminate ass shit. But I'm going to tell you, he is behaving as an out of control woman. That's how he's behaving. But emotionally, I don't put that on a woman. That's his man emotion out of fucking control. That's his man emotion out of control. that as a perceived, from my optics, I'm like, that's effeminate, because that's how we identify it. But at the end of the day, the women have shown more composure than this brother has. And we'll turn around and say the women are out of control and they don't have the sense of security and the emotional stability to be able to be in this situation. Son don't have the ability to be in that situation. That's him. That's not the woman. So in my closing, to just respond, you know, it's the last thing I want to respond to is this stipulation that, well, you know, you got to be at this house, you got to be at that house. So it's going to be fatherless children because you ain't going to be at all the houses. Well, let me explain something. The way we set up polygyny, all of us had to live in the same complex. We all lived in Brownsville houses. Okay, we all lived in the same projects, in the same place. And then what we did, when you talk about people not having enough money, Mr. Jeremiah Judah, only $11 an hour, how are you going to survive? The question is the answer. You employ group economics, and we stay in the same household, and we help each individual come up one at a damn time. That's how we did it. Now everyone got their own crib. Now everyone got their own goddamn car. Now everyone got their own business, and we got our family business that we run collectively. You're talking to somebody who does this. Some of these questions should just genuinely and honestly be asked instead of you telling me what's going on in my world, because I'm gonna tell you, first of all, everyone should live in the same home if it is a circumstance where most people income isn't over $150,000 a year per person.
All right.
Then I would say live in the same house.
So I'm polite.
I imagine that I lost a great deal of my zeal, but it was entertaining nonetheless.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm grateful for everybody being here tonight. Let me recap. We're gonna go as far back, and it won't be long because I know how to do this. We go as far back.
Yeah, right. Don't say that polite. Don't do that. Just go, brother. Don't say it ain't gonna be long. Just go, brother.
When you do this Jeremiah Judah stuff, that's all the reason.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So the hyena gave STDs. Yo, he's wild. But listen, to our brother General that's over here, because I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna get past the Bennett. All right, son, we get it. Why you do all this distraction?
Just go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna take it down. I want the people to get it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Yo, you've been rolling with Jeremiah too much, man. Yo, so with the general that we have down here, I don't want to mispronounce his name. Yasha?
Yes, General Yasha.
Okay, General Yasha. I wanted to make a couple things clear because he questioned me about using a source, and the source that he questioned me about using, he made it seem like I only used that source as far as everything I was discussing. So let me just make it clear. In terms of marriage, I use the National Center for Biotech Information, okay, the NCBI. In terms of the homicide and suicidal rate for Black people, I use the CDC. In terms of the prison incarceration, all right, I use the US Department of Justice. All right, and so in terms of how much men there are to women, I use the US Census Bureau. So I wanted to make it clear because he started talking about Bill Gates and he went into a number of other things as though the one source I used encompassed everything, when in fact, every source that I used came from a different source. And I used each one of them to corroborate a testimony I was putting forth to you guys, that no matter what you say, no matter what you choose to do, the fact of the matter is we have way more women than we have men based on prison incarceration, based on divorce rates, based on the mortality rate of men and females in the Black community, based on the LGBTQ community and the uprise of homosexuality, based on prison incarceration. So with these things, you have to take it all into consideration, people, that our people that are opposing their contention against our argument have yet to provide a remedy for this disproportionate number for men and women in the Black community. There's no remedy for that ratio of men to women. And so even if you decide hey, like Lord Abbott said, even if you should decide it's not for you, you don't think you have the intestinal fortitude to indulge in this type of lifestyle. The fact still remains, what then do we do with the rest of the women? So when y'all say, hey, you know, but I know Brother Polite, he ain't gonna be in no situation like that. That's not even in question. Why? That's not in question. What are you doing, Sal?
I answered your question. Brother.
Okay. So that's not in question because there's more women by far than there are men. So why would you keep saying, well, Polite, you're not going to do it? That's a question that's not even relevant. If we're telling you by facts that there are way more women than men, why are you even throwing me in consideration? It's too personal for you. We're addressing real life issues and we're asking the members of the panel, now that we know there are a striking number of women in contrast to men, how do you suppose we remedy this situation considering the broken family households, the prison incarceration, the rise of homosexuality, the homicide and suicide rate? How do we remedy this? And then naturally more women are being born than men in general. What do we do with that? That's on the table. Not, I guarantee Polite ain't gonna like. Nature dealt us this hand, not Polite. I ain't deal you this hand. The circumstances that exist would exist whether I was here or not. So since they exist, how are we going to deal with it? Now we're going to move on to Pastor Bennett and his shenanigans. All right? And I felt for you because I wanted to hear how you was going to respond to Desariat. You should have went in for the kill. I felt that. I felt you. So trust me on that. I will not be biased. I wanted to hear you be able to respond to that, brother, with him on the line. I would have loved to hear that. So I'm with you on that, brother. But I'm not with you on this. So let's talk about this. I'm with the white man one moment, and then I'm not with the white man the next. 1 minute he's the devil, and this is y'all verbiage, so I'm gonna speak, you know, I'm gonna deal with the nomenclature of the religious brothers and sisters here. So I'm using the word devil for the sake of context for my brothers and sisters. 1 minute, the white man's the devil in one sense, and then the next minute he's not. This is what Pastor Bennett says about Brother Polite. I absolutely agree, Pastor Bennett. I don't know what the disparity is. I don't know where something may have got misconstrued, but I agree. 1 minute, this white man is the damn devil. The next minute, he's not. If he gonna send me a stimulus check, I ain't gonna cut it up and say, God damn it, you the devil. I ain't gonna use the stimulus check. I'm gonna spend that goddamn check. I'm gonna invest that money. I know exactly where I'm gonna put it in, RCL or AAL. Those are the stocks I'm gonna put it in. That's a fact. So 1 minute he do something nice for me. It don't dispel the fact that he's still the goddamn devil. And I'm gonna use your context for it. So what's this thing where 1 minute I can't point out something in his system that is putting me at a disadvantage, and then another minute I may use the advantage? What's wrong with that? That's the same conversation sa.neter is having with Dr. Ma'at and Ankh when they saying, hey, 1 minute his children can go to school, the next minute he can cash a check, but in another instance, he don't trust the government, but you trust the government when you put your money in the bank. Yeah, because that's the system that we subject to. Those are the circumstances that we subject to. That's what surrounds us on a day-to-day basis. Just because there's a concession made doesn't mean that we don't have the right to fair skepticism. We all live here in America, it's not by coincidence, and it's not because of a voluntary scenario. Most of us are here on account of the fact our ancestors was kidnapped. It's a fact. We didn't ask to be here. So what are you saying? Now that we're here, you know, you Polite, you want to enjoy things. You want to go to Six Flags now that you're in America. I thought the white man's the devil. Yeah, because my children want to go to Six Flags. What is the point? I don't never get these kind of weird points you guys make. I'm not going to spend no more time on that. So now we're going to go to white women have nothing to do with this. Oh, that's what I want to say too. You keep talking about me and white women. That had nothing to do with anything. That's just you and your personal stuff you want to talk about. All my wives are black. They're dark. They're melanated. They're wife from Sudan, okay? Wife from Dominica, okay? Wife from Guyana, okay? And a wife from America, because I'll be damned if I have a wife from two of the same places on planet Earth. That's me. That's what I do, because I can do that. I ain't got no white women. I don't know why you keep bringing this up. So we're gonna move past that, and we're gonna go to this one. Okay. I never said I had a wife that solved my prison problem. So let me just put it in context. My wife, Aminette, who I've been with for 22 years, she delivered me. She saved me. She's my Lord and Savior. But every woman that I'm with has saved me in some capacity because of their gift or their talent, which I appreciate. Your second grade teacher can save you. There's nothing wrong with that. Your 11th grade teacher can save you, and your mama can give you some enlightenment. But when it comes to wives, it got to be one person and one person only that can have a huge impact on me. That don't make no sense. I can have 2 children, and no one's going to ask me, yo, how can you have 2 children? How you going to love both of them? No one's going to ever say that. They're going to say, you got 2 children. It makes perfect sense you could love both your children. But then when women get involved, you want to make it like it's impossible to love more than one woman. That don't make no damn sense, because it's not impossible to make more than one child and love both of them. Because if that be the case, everyone should be limited to making one baby, so that way the other child wouldn't be forsaken or neglected in any instance or circumstance. And I'll close out with this point. When we talk about economics, oh yeah, my brother over here, but he's capping America. Yo, I'm enough for my wife. She don't need no more help. I got all these children. Come on, fam. You ain't got a cap like that. I respect you. It looks like you're taking care of your family. I got love for that. But you're not going to have 5, 6, 7 children, okay, and have one woman that has to attend to those children and think that a person in a polygynous environment that has co-wives or sister wives, where more mothers are at the disposal of the children, that you guys are more effective by yourself. Y'all probably don't homeschool or nothing. In our environment, we homeschool. And each one of the wives, we compartmentalize the curriculum for the children. It would be harder and almost impossible, considering the business we already have to maintain, for me and my one wife to just think we're going to just homeschool all the children that's here. That don't make no sense. And now you can slave and do it, but the fact of the matter is it would be more convenient to have people on hand compartmentalize the curriculum and other responsibilities of the household, so no one is spread thin, so people can still pursue their dreams with a peace of mind that things are not being neglected in the household or responsibilities such as educating the children. So I'll do this for you. We got a 24-hour cycle, 24 hours in a day. That's what they say. The average person works a 9 to 5 at minimum. That's 8 hours. So add that right there, 8 hours, 9 to 5, average person. The average person is going to take about an hour to go to work, about an hour to come back. That's 10 hours. Most people, they say we should sleep 1/3 of our day, which would be 1/3 of our lifetime. Most people don't sleep about 8 hours. Most people sleep about 6 hours. Let's just give an average of 6 hours. So we got 8 hours, 9 to 5, 1 hour going to work, 1 hour coming back, 10 hours, plus 6 hours they're going to sleep. That's 16 hours. That's 2/3 of your life you're using to contribute to building someone else's dream. 1/3 of your life is left. Within that 1/3, 8 hours left. Within that 8 hours you have left, you have to have time to socialize with your children. Hopefully you have time for yourself. Hopefully you cook. Hopefully you clean. Okay. Then what? Hopefully you pray, right? Then hopefully what? What else you got to do? You got to raise your children if you have children. Hopefully you get to travel. But the reality is, with 1/3 of your day, 1/3 of your life on average, only being available to you, you're going to sacrifice spirituality. You're going to sacrifice reading just for your own personal growth and development. You're going to sacrifice studying. You're going to sacrifice the time you can have to travel because of a lack of resources and time. Because when you travel, you still have to pay for the home that you're paying for while you're on vacation. So that's going to limit that time. And when you finally get off of work, you're going to spend time catching up on all the things you don't get to do when you go to work. Okay? Or just sleep on your time. So when we resolve this matter, 9 to 5, 8 hours, going to work 1 hour, come back from work 10 hours, going to sleep for 6 hours, 16 hours, 2/3 of your life, the only way that you're going to get spread thin, if you're on the come up, not already up, is if you work with other people as a collective. Now, let's not get it twisted. As a male, I said to my preference, I want to be with several women. The most cohesive thing that you can do as a unit in polygyny is to set up a strong economic foundation because your business is an entity. Literally, that's the word for a corporation. It's a synonym: person, legal person, fiction, legal fiction, or entity. Your business is an entity, and your corporation is a cooperation. And in law, a friend is one who's willing to invest in you, or one you're willing to invest in. And if me and a woman get together, and let's say we see a house, we say, yo, I think we both can profit off that house. You know what we call that? We make a contract about that house we want to invest in because we see it as an asset. We call that consideration. And then when that asset starts yielding us money, making us money, the money that's made from that house is called appreciation. So we got consideration, we got appreciation, we got the corporation, which is a cooperation. And since it's a property, we're going to set up a trust, because a trust is property held on behalf of one so that another may benefit. Okay, so we're going to set up a trust. So now we have trust, appreciation, consideration, friendship, and cooperation, which is the corporation. Now in that trust, we're going to decide what percentage she gets, whether I'm with her or without her. Okay, so now we're talking about shares and we're talking about bonds. So now we have bonding and we have sharing. You feel what I'm saying? So now we have bonding, sharing, cooperation, friendship, appreciation, consideration, trust, and of course that's going to be held in a security, because we're going to do our own financing statements. You feel what I'm saying? And I don't have to go over what a security is again for like the 5th time. So now we got a sense of security, we got trust, we got appreciation, we got consideration, we got friendship, we got cooperation, which is a cooperation. Now what I'm telling you is all the words that we have an emotional affinity to, there is a dichotomy to those words, and they equally have an economic resolve. And if we put more focus on our economics, we wouldn't be distracted by the so-called or the purported sexual aspects of the relationship, because that's all people thinking about every damn second. But when you're doing your business, when you're about your business, when you're about your dreams and your goals and ambitions, it's no different from a woman who wants to be an actress. She may not have the time to have children, okay? It's no different from a person who's in school to become a biologist or neurologists. They don't have the time to club like everybody. And sometimes they may even turn down being in relationships because they so focused on their goal. So what's this concept that if you get with the opposite sex, it's only under the terms of having sex? And yes, sex is a good thing. But I know this, I know for sure. I know a lot of broke people who have way more sex than I do, because I can't afford to have the type of time that they have to indulge in sex and making more babies than I could afford. And the last thing I want to make clear, when we talk about nation building, not necessarily that this is what the brother General conceives to be nation building exclusively, but many times people intimate that nation building is about making babies, because people say, Polite, you got all those wives. What's the sense of having all those wives if you ain't going to have a whole bunch of babies? Because I make my babies on pace. All my children were born on purpose. Any woman I'm with, we give birth to our children in the home, under circumstances that we are interested in, and it's on our time. I got a wife that models. She don't want to have a child at this moment because of her career, and that's okay. I'll just make sure I make the baby with somebody else. It happens. But the reality is, you don't have to be in a relationship exclusively just to have babies. And your nation building is more than just making babies. And that's one of the problems that we have in our community, because some men feel more like men, not you necessarily, General. Some men feel more like men just because they're able to make a baby, not feeling more like a man because they're able to take care of their children and edify them. So I'm going to make babies in according to the amount of monies that comes in and the freedom and luxury that we have. We do it at that pace, because nation building is also about setting up rules and a legacy called wealth stewardship, which is generational wealth. So we not just think about making money right now. We want to make sure that our children never have to be subject to the same type of economic circumstances that we were subject to when we were born after our parents made us. Wealth stewardship.
All right. Dan, powerful right there. Powerful closure. Pastor Bennett, you want to be out? You can go ahead, and we're going to close out right now because we've been doing this. And the only reason I fuck with this, my man, Jeremiah, my man, but, you know, sometimes he forces me to kick his ass out sometime. And, you know, that's why I'm allow him to come back, and he hit me up. He said, sir, please, you got to let me get polite and Lord Abersaw. So I fuck with Jeremiah. That's my brother. He always look out for me. I just get mad.
Yeah, right. You fuck with
I get mad because the brother don't be disciplined, man. That's it. I fuck with Jeremiah. He just don't be disciplined. So yes, go ahead.
I'm a wild lion, so it's kind of hard to just.
Hold up. Go ahead, Pastor Bennett. What you said?
I just wanted to say peace to everybody on the panel, peace to Sign, peace to the chat. Everybody have a good rest of y'all night.
All right, peace, Pastor Bennett. All right,
Pastor Bennett, you was on fire. I love everything you said.
All right, go ahead. All right, you got the floor, Jeremiah. Please don't get personal, brother. Just please, brother.
Nah, I'm not gonna get personal. First, I want to address Private Tazariak. I want to address him first.
Tazariak not here, brother. Just deal with the.
No. I wasn't here. Listen, I wasn't here when everybody was calling my name, so let me go on for 2 minutes. If they still get hurt, then so be it.
Go ahead, go
all right,
on.
first
Get
of
your
all,
shit off, brother.
Tazariak, brother, you know what? Like I said, brother, you cannot even get on here and talk about nothing when you sit up here with your 12 tribes chart, sit up there and talk about the Mexicans and the Indians and Bolivians and all these other people, but you hate Africa. You wouldn't even let the little boy come and eat. So you ain't got no room to even get on here and say nothing. And you ran from me anyway, brother. If you ever want to debate on that 12 tribes chart, I will shut that shit down. I'm gonna let you know right now, bro. Hey, the 12 tribes chart is fake. All 12 tribes is Negro. But you don't even appreciate your people that came from the door of no return. You rather be with these Mexicans, these stringy hairs. Then you want to get on here talking about somebody need to sit down. So if any time that you want to debate your 12 tribes chart, I got you. The next, you Lord Albert, to me, brother, you ain't nothing but a polite wannabe. The Moors, let's talk about the Moors. They was over there killing people in Africa along with Leopold. So anybody who wears the fez to me is a sellout. I don't know what kind of Moor you is, bro. But guess what? We can talk about that too. The Moors ain't nothing but the white man's puppet. Now, back to you, Polite. You didn't even address the situation when we went to the middle part of this. The mental aspect when he said, address Jeremiah do the 7,000. What did you do? You went into some old spiel like you always do. The polite shuffle. That's what you do, brother. You can never answer a question directly. But you go through all these little big words and your long spiel and put us to sleep, and everybody who ain't wise to you think you said something. Well, not 7,000. If you don't listen. And what you did, you said a whole lot of nothing. You see what I'm saying? And like you still ain't addressed $11 an hour. How can a man make $11 an hour, take care of 3 homes? That's the average income for the black man in America. You see what I'm saying? So if you can't afford 3 homes, you ain't doing but creating problems. See what I'm saying? And like I said, sa.neter, I appreciate you letting me come on. I want everybody to know I didn't run. I got put off because, like you said, I got a little. But when these guys gonna answer questions, 7,000 gonna come out. That's what the Lions didn't do, and that's all I need to say, sa.neter. I just want to address that, and I appreciate it.
Jeremiah, how come this always happens, brother? You end up getting kicked off. Why does this not the first time? It always go down like this, brother.
I always get kicked off, man. You know tell you why?
Why?
Because when I get you a team in the corner somewhere, you come in and save them.
That's not true, brother. I allowed you to talk, and then you kept interrupting, and I kept pausing it, and you kept going on. So it's like you forced me to kick you out, and I tried to see if you're going to chill, brother, but you didn't. You just kept unmuting yourself when I mute you.
Well, I apologize. I apologize. But Polite play too many games. He go through these long stories. And like I say, hey, when me and him had that debate, he didn't stay on top of it then because the name of the debate was, did the guys of West Africa let the black man down and woman down? Because according to y'all, we didn't get a Bible until we came to America. So he had to defend that, and guess what he did? He didn't stay on topic. Everybody can go back and watch that debate. And the crazy part about it, that was a spontaneous debate because I was at Walmart.
All right. We got to the end of this, man. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to sa.neter Studios for putting that production on, man. All the people that was on the panel, man. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting for a 5-hour video. You know what I'm saying? So this is the juicy part now. Who won? All right. So I'll be putting up a part 2 of the debate. You see what I'm saying? Polite versus the general. I think the next one I'll probably put up is Nepal, Sister Nepal Shaddad versus Carla. Versus the world. You know what I'm saying? Versus the world. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed watching the video. Again, shout out to sa.neter Studios, man. So leave your comments. Who you think won? You see what I'm saying? Who got Hawks Shamshawan smashed? All right. This is debate, man. It's not personal. It is what it is. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I stand on Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shah. You know what I'm saying? But it's on this topic. It's not a biased topic. This is a social issue. This is cultural. You see what I'm saying? So what information was presented, you know what I'm saying, and what information, you must judge what information was presented, what information was not presented. You know what I'm saying? Did people answer questions? Did they avoid the questions? You see what I'm saying? Was it structured? All these different things. You see what I'm saying? So make it pop, make it happen, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pro poly. I'm a Hebrew Israelite all day. All right? For the past over 15 years. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it be, and it be what it is. It's your brother Maharakar, Banya Hawada, Banya Sha'ala, represent Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shah, Army of Israel, E37, Men of Valor, the future ready, one love, one nation, one king. Yeah, we up out of here, man. Salute!
You already know I ain't even meant to go this goddamn long. God damn. This is long. It's probably 5 hours. I don't know. I might have to cut this up and put up part 1 and part 2 on Black News 102. Hey, family, I want to share this with y'all real quick. Peace and black power. We out of here.
Level. Level. So let me hear you say sa.neter, sa.neter, sa.neter. All right, then. Level. sa.neter brings the truth. Black News 102. So let me hear you say this is here for me. I knew it's sa.neter, sa.neter. All right, then. sa.neter brings the truth. Black News 102.
That's where we gonna be.
This is here for me. I knew it's Black News 102. House of Consciousness, make sure you're logged into YouTube. Black man, hold your head up high and black the money YouTube. Let me now go apologize, love up me melanin. So let me hear you say so.
Level. The House of Consciousness on Black News 102. You can't front, you know you've grew. sa.neter Studio.
sa.neter TV is here for you. Black News 102, always bringing the truth. And if you can't find yourself and can't see the light, sa.neter TV, I'll help you in the fight. Black News 102, we here for you. Black News 102, we here for you. We here for you. We here for you. To bring the truth, to bring the truth.